Week 12 in college football. I am your host, Coach Cassie. Tell my hair is a little messy. Why is it messy? Because today we're debuting something new. Check it out. We have a wide right CFB hat, exclusive only to this guy. But maybe we'll have some more here in the future. Before we go any further, let me introduce our first panelist. He's the beast from the East. He's the assistant to the president of the Doug Flutie fan club. And his picks are so good, they're almost lead pipe. Please welcome Lindsay the Greek to the panel. How's it going, Lindsay?
Good. How are you doing?
Good enough. Good enough right now.
It's a snazzy hat. I like it.
It makes me look 10 years younger.
That's a heck of a hat.
Our next panelist, knows everything about the left coast. He's a resident fan of the Trojans. That's USC. Please welcome to the stream. Cool, Jude Santa Cruz. What's up, Jude?
Hey, what's going on, guys? How you doing? How's everyone doing? Fight on.
Pretty good.
Fight on. And as of yesterday, an announcement. I know this is a football stream, not a political stream, but come on, 4 more years, 2024.
Yes. It'd be great.
Not 4 more for our current regimen. You know that. you know what I meant.
Yeah, I was just busting your balls there.
You know what I meant.
Oh, we lost Lindsay. Lindsay disappeared.
So maybe he only wants 2 more years.
I don't want 2 more minutes of that guy.
Yeah, me either.
Oh, all right, maybe Lindsay will pop back up. I think he may have had a call. I heard a phone ring. Oh, wait, he's back. Yeah, maybe not. And he's back.
Sorry about that. I don't know. Someone gave me a phone call, and I declined the call, and it muted me, and I muted everything. I don't know what's going on.
What the hell? Don't they know this is like business time here?
Well, I know. Why is someone calling me 9:15 at night? I don't know.
Well, technically, if you're working, you're still in business hours.
That is true, but I know this guy who was calling is not working.
Oh.
Anyway.
Not all we can do about it. So
I'm back.
All right. Well, let's get to week 12. Let's get the banner up. I'm slacking a little bit, a little under the weather this week, just a smidge.
I dig that hat, man.
It's a nice hat.
Yeah. I have to talk to the boss to see if we can get a couple more made. You know, I've only been dragging my feet getting it out, to, even shirts out to you guys. Hello, Jude. Some other stuff for like a year now. So.
That's all right. Maybe we can debut our wide white shirts next September.
Oh, man, I hope we have them by then. I don't know. So
it makes the anticipation that much greater.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's start off today's show. Unfortunately, we have some unfortunate news in college football. On Sunday night, 3 members of the Virginia football team were killed in a senseless tragedy. And our thoughts and prayers go out to their family and their friends and all the other people associated with the University of Virginia football. I don't want to get into the nuts and bolts of what happened, but it's just very unfortunate. Like I said, our thoughts and prayers go out to their family. So we want to make sure that's the first thing we talk about tonight. And it's just a senseless tragedy, and it's just unfortunate. So,
yeah, very sad situation.
But my condolences go to the whole family and the school and the community there.
Yep, me too.
Can't wait to see what the result of the investigation is, but I can't get my head around this one.
Yeah, like I said, I don't want to speak too much right now because it's all still real fresh, and you know, it's a tragedy. You know, it's just a terrible thing to have to even. I wish it didn't exist. I wish it just wasn't there. You know, it's just horrible that it is, and like I said, I just can't. My thoughts and prayers just can't go out to the family enough. So. All right. Well, we got business to talk about too. So let's talk about the CFP top 5. I mean, it's real and it's there. Number 1 is Georgia. There's no denying it. Nobody can deny Georgia's the number 1 team in the nation. They've proven it until proven otherwise. They're the number 1. Number 2, although it's going to be decided coming up here pretty soon because Ohio State is at number 2, Michigan's at number 3. And at number 4, it's that pesky team from Fort Worth, TCU, and they they had a good game on Saturday. Wasn't a lot of points scored, and there was a lot of defense played. They got a lot of help from their officials, but they still won the game. At the end of the day. So that's your top four, and then at number 5 is America's underdog. Everybody loves this team. Tennessee at 9-1. So then past that, we got an 8-2 LSU team, and Jude's like, can these guys lose? But the problem is if they lose, is his team gonna get jumped by the winner of that game. And number 7 we have USC. Number 8 Alabama. 9 is Clemson, and 10 is Utah. So not a ton of change in the top 10 this week, but it's there. So I guess we need to start talking about some games and weather. So I'm watching like this MAC game. I'm kind of like snoozing. I got off, early for my standards today. And I was sitting there, I'm watching this MAC game, and it snows like a foot during this game. And so I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, well, I know Michigan plays this weekend. Who does Michigan play this weekend? And will weather be an issue? So let's take a look at that first. And because we're getting to that time of year where weather could be an issue. So Michigan's hosting Illinois, and Illinois is not a team to scoff at, right? I mean, they could beat you. Are they going to beat Michigan at home? Probably not, but I don't want to find out on Saturday. And you definitely don't want just to.
That wouldn't hurt my feelings.
I was looking at a college football analytic, and it said that if Michigan were to lose, they would still have a 52% chance of winning or making the CFP.
Wow.
So, yeah, no snow expected this weekend. It's just gonna be 29 degrees with a high in Ann Arbor on Saturday.
But it looks like it's going to be partly cloudy, so it'll be cold, but it looks like there's not going to be any precipitation.
Right now. We don't know. I mean, I think also weather kind of blows up out there.
And I think both schools can certainly handle the cold. So it would be interesting to see, having below freezing temperatures, if that holds to be true,
and,
how that affects things and handling of the football. And
here's another game that's going to be affected by weather. Number 4 TCU is traveling to Waco to go take on Baylor at McLean Stadium in Waco, Texas. Now, it's not going to be snowing, but it's going to be wet and cold on Saturday. It's going to be pretty miserable in the central Texas area. And it's definitely that could play a factor in the game. Now, do I think TCU is going to drop one to Baylor? No, but weather always has a way of kind of evening the playing field. You know what I mean? You can have a really good team and middle of the road team, and then they meet, weather happens, and then you have the issue. So let's see what else we have. I'm gonna scroll some other games, and then we'll get to Lindsay's lead pipe locks, and then kind of go from there. We have number 1 Georgia at Kentucky. Oh, here we go. Big game this week. Ohio State at Maryland. I'm kidding. And I can't talk about this one because it's probably, I'm going to say it's going to be my game of the week, even though there's another one that might rival it in the same conference. So the West Coast has got a lot of big football going on. So we're going to be watching at Showtime on Saturday. We've got a couple games we really have to keep an eye on. So I think Jude's going to have a lot going on Saturday, I would bet. So
if just let me be forewarned. The game starts at 5:00 my time, so I've got a couple hours. But that means that kickoff for White Right CFB will probably be around middle of third quarter, maybe fourth quarter. If it's 35-35, I might be calling in sick.
Well,
or at least calling in a little bit late.
I'm saying what we're going to do is we're going to have Lindsay put the game up on the screen.
That would be awesome.
That'd be a good time.
I think we should do that again this weekend. Because we haven't had high-level games to watch in the evening time for a while, or until last week. I'd say we watch it. I think it's a big deal. So
That'll be fun. We should do that.
Yep. All right, so let's. Lindsay's a busy man, so let's get to our first segment of the night. Lindsay's
Shoot.
lockdowns. All right, Lindsay.
Our first
Lindsay the
segment
Greek.
of the night also happens to be our best segment, man. I look forward to Lindsay's pick.
All the time we've been making money in this house the last couple of weeks off of Lindsay's picks, so we were pretty good last week. He didn't take a bloodbath last week, so
No, it wasn't that bad. I missed a couple that I was actually feeling pretty confident about. So it was kind of a bummer because it's.
well. Let's not feel confident about anything. Let's make some.
No, I actually feel a little more confident this week, given the disparity in the lineup. But we'll start with the contenders first. Georgia is playing Kentucky, and I don't see this as really being a fair fight at all. Georgia, I think, will handily win 42-28. The Ohio State University is playing Maryland, and I don't see this one as close either. I think these two games are going to be pretty lopsided. I'm going to give this one to Ohio State 32-17. The close game I see the contenders is TCU playing Baylor, because Baylor's got the best defense in the Big 12, and TCU really hasn't played teams that have a defense that is that potent. So it'll be interesting to see how TCU can compensate and approach that. I think they're going to make the adjustment, though, and I'm going to give the win to TCU, but in a close game, 32-28. For the pretenders, poor old Boston College is going to – I think they had a flash in the pan last week. They're going to lose to Notre Dame, 32-24. I see Miami losing to Clemson, 24-17, and a fairly close game is going to be played between Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, but ultimately I see Oklahoma losing to State 35-28. Now, when it comes to I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
When it comes to the upset of the week and the game of the week, I had a hard time when I was going back and forth between the USC-UCLA game and the Oregon and Utah game, because I think both are going to be fun to watch. And in deciding what I thought the outcome was going to be, I decided to combine my upset of the week to also be the game of the week, but I'll give an honorable mention to the other one. So I'm going with Oregon and Utah. And I think that not only is that going to be one of the most exciting games this week because the teams are evenly matched, but I also think it's going to be the upset of the week. I'm going to give the win to Oregon, beating Utah 35-32. But the USC-UCLA game is also going to be a ton of fun to watch. I'm looking forward to that game a lot. So I was just kind of going back and forth between who did I think, based on how they've been doing in the past and what they've got coming on the field this week, is going to be the most exciting game, and I gave that one to Oregon. But we'll see. I can't wait to see the USC game too. In the Heisman watch, poor old Bo Nix is going to drop off my watch list altogether this week, and I'm going with Stetson Bennett and C.J. Stroud in the top spots. On the radar, I'm going to leave Hendon Hooker and Caleb Williams from last week, but we'll see how Georgia does and how Ohio does this week, and that might have some bearing on how I see Bennett and Stroud doing. Hendon Hooker, I think, is going to remain steady, though. I don't know that, given how they played when they're up against a higher quality team, that really shines a favorable light on Hooker. So I don't know that he's going to be faring much better than he has in the past. And Caleb Williams, too. I'm very interested to see how he fares this week as well.
All righty. Well, that sounds good. I have a couple different variations of my Heisman watch. I'll talk about that after we get Jude and Hunter. I think that you can't go wrong watching either the Utah-Oregon game or the USC-UCLA game. And last week, I'll say this about UCLA, is DTR didn't lose the game for UCLA. The team, he played tremendous. The team just didn't play very well around him. And if I was drafting like tight end wide receiver types, the wide receiver Bobo from UCLA, that guy's really good. I was very impressed with how he was moving around the field. And even DTR looked pretty good as well. I think it's going to be a fantastic game. So before you go, Lindsay, let me, I don't know how much time you have tonight, but let's go ahead and hop on over to the Salute to the Service Academies. And we do this every week, and it's one of my favorite parts of the show every week is our Salute to the Service Academies. And, well, Jude, if you want to watch the first Service Academy game this week, you're going to have to be up by 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday because we have Navy at number 20 UCF from FBC Mortgage Stadium in Orlando, Florida. This is a 10 a.m. Central Time kick, so 8 a.m. on the West Coast.
Ooh.
Yeah. Whew. Yeah. Well, it's 11 there in Florida, so, I don't know. Navy hadn't had that great of a season, but Navy did show signs of life last week, almost coming back and beating Notre Dame. So
Dominant second half.
Yeah, they do have the will to win. I'll say that. They're not a team that's going to give up even regardless of schedule. So that's going to be a game to watch. I would say if you're going to be up early, you got to take the kids to soccer practice and you want to come home and sit on the couch and watch some TV and turn on Navy at UCF. You will not be disappointed. Now, UCF is going to score some points because it's Gus Malzahn. Gus Malzahn is an innovator of offense, and UCF is going to score some points. But I think Navy's going to be in this game. It's very hard to stop Navy, especially near the coast. They always do well near water. So I'll say that UCF gets the win, but Navy keeps it really close. And if Navy wins by chance, I wouldn't be surprised. In our second of the two games at 11 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Jude's time, 12 o'clock Eastern Time, we have UConn traveling to West Point, New York to take on the Black Knights of the Hudson, the Army Black Knights of the Hudson. So I'll say this, UConn's a really good team that nobody's talking about. Jim Mora Jr. has done an excellent job of reviving a program that was really just down, like really bad. And if we're going to talk Coach of the Year candidates, Jim Mora Jr. is definitely going to deserve some recognition because he has really brought a breath of fresh air to this program, and I know where this town is because my oldest stepbrother actually lives in Storrs, Connecticut. So there you go, name dropping. Boom. They're going to take on Army. UConn's going to travel to West Point, and they're going to beat Army soundly. I'm saying 31-17. So I know we all always like to cheer for Army, but I think UConn has beaten some really noteworthy teams. So that's going to be a tough game for them to lose. I think on the road they still do well. I'm picking UConn in this one, although I do like Army. And then a little bit later in the day, if you don't want to watch USC and UCLA battle it out, you can go and click the TV over at 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. on the East Coast, 5 p.m. on the 6 p.m. on Jude Standard Time, and you can watch Colorado State go to the Fighting Falcons Stadium there in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and take on Air Force. And I think Air Force wins this game by a lot. I think we're talking 42-14. Now Air Force is locked up the CIC trophy. So out of the three service academies, they're the best of the best. Also, Air Force is playing for a respectable bowl. They're also playing for a 10-win season. I think Air Force is going to win by a lot because they want to go and play a meaningful bowl this bowl season. And I would say I wouldn't want to play them if I was anybody. They're going to play probably a lower seeded team, but their record isn't inflated. They definitely have beaten some real teams at the time. So what do you guys think about these games this weekend?
I'm looking forward to them. The early games, I'll probably just be able to, score watch a little bit as I'll just be getting up and getting ready, having some breakfast, getting ready for basketball. But, man, I don't know that UConn, I do think they're going to win. Jim Mora's got that team really pointed in the right direction. Are they ever going to be a team that's going to make the college football playoffs? Well, I asked Jim Mora Sr., and he said, playoffs? But
don't talk to me about playoffs.
Playoffs? We're just trying to win a game.
but at least it was a conversation point. It's awesome that he's turned the program around. It really goes to show you what a good coach he is. But yeah, I always look forward to watching the military academies play, and I especially look forward to that first weekend in December because that's one of my favorite games of the year, besides USC and Notre Dame every year, probably.
I think we're gonna have to probably live stream that game. That's gonna be well. There's something else going on that day too, so I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. I'm not sure. I believe that we are committed to a. Let's see. Hold on. I'll tell you when this game is. I believe there's other activities going on that day. It's the Army Navy. But please, somebody take over while I'm looking this up.
Well, let me
Mike?
say hi to everyone in the chat. Appreciate you all hanging out and coming to see us. Pat Paulson, Schmitty71, and Diabolical58, our 3 most loyal viewers.
Nice to see you guys.
All right, we have another panelist joining us. He's taking time out of his work schedule as well as like Lindsay. Please welcome to the stream our expert in college football. He knows what the coaches know. Hunter, welcome to the show. What's up, bud?
Hey, Hunter.
What's up, Hunter?
Hey, Lindsay. Hey, Jude.
All right, bud. We're talking about the service academies, and on December 10th, I don't know how we're going to do this. It's going to be hard to live stream this game because we're asking everybody. Hell, we're going to do it anyways. We'll watch part of this game. Lindsay's going to put it up on the screen. We'll sit there and watch. I think. Hopefully, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe Lindsay will come over. Maybe you can watch it while we're watching it. Who knows? We have our giveaway. So this has got to be a good segue time here. Here we go. This is an opportunity. When life throws you a problem, you come up with an opportunity. All right. So on December 10th, it's our 500-ish subscriber giveaway. Now, are we going to get to 500 subs? But we're going to give some stuff away. What's that?
Not for a lack of trying.
It could happen.
In life, sometimes you're steak, sometimes you're feathers. You just got to take the good with the bad. But it doesn't matter. We have a loyal fan that's going to win this giveaway. You just have to think about that. Like, we're not just giving it away to someone we don't know. We're going to have a loyal fan because we have, I think, 31 loyal fans right now. One of those lucky fans is going to win the giveaway. So it's somebody we know pretty well because they're the only ones that watch this thing. So, Mom, if you're watching, you got a chance.
I like the WNBA.
So let's talk about the giveaway.
Good night, Pat.
So let's talk about what you're going to win. You're going to win 2 of these Wide Right CFB shirts. You're going to win a football signed by most of the Wide Right CFB crew. I'm actually going to buy the football tonight. I'm going to have it shipped to Jude's house. He's going to sign it, mail it to me, and then I'm going to get the rest of the crew to sign it. If we can get Joey to sign it, great. If not, then we may have to forge Joey's signature. Probably won't be the first time that Joey's signature has been forged before. Just kidding.
Hey, I can pick up the ball. I can pick up the ball, so we can save one trip this way. I can pick it up, ship it to Joey, and have Joey ship it to you.
Okay, well, let's do that. We'll exchange.
All right,
Everybody knows our address.
I'll go pick one up tomorrow during my lunch hour. I'll go get a ball.
Okay, just get you and Joey to sign it, and then we'll just go from there. So
all right.
But anyways, we're going to send that ball to you as well as 2 $50 gift cards to Buffalo Wild Wings. So you can go and watch some CFP playoff because we're going to mail this stuff out the night. Well, probably not the night of, probably the Monday after. So the 12th, we're going to mail this stuff out. So you should realistically have this stuff by the 14th or 15th, depending on where you live, and be enjoying some Wide Right CFP gifts. So
hey, maybe the winner can be a panelist for a segment on one of the podcasts.
Oh, that's a good idea, Jude. Yes, the winner's going to have to be a panelist for at least a national championship, preview. What do you think?
Yeah, I like that.
How can you go wrong?
Well,
all right, don't answer that honestly, son. Please, thank you. All right. Well, since I know Jude's here for the long haul, and Hunter may not be. Let's get the Hunter's takes here, bud.
oh man, this is great. I did not prepare. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the game of the trash or week or whatever. I'm gonna go with UMass at Texas A&M. That just screams bad game to me, and especially like Now, I'm not advocating betting, nor do I bet on games, but a point spread of minus 33.5 with Texas A&M. I mean, they don't look good. The defense is going to have to score half those points. They're not going to lose to UMass. In no world does A&M lose to UMass. Half the players would have to get COVID. The other half would have to get arrested in order for the team to lose to UMass. And then maybe some of the fans have to be barred from entering the field. I mean, it's UMass. So they're not losing to UMass, but it's not going to be an exciting game. It's going to be pretty bad. UMass is going to run for too many yards, and A&M's going to just kind of underperform. It's just going to be, another underperformance from a team that has significantly underperformed this year. On to my game of the WEEK. I have to think for a second, but I do believe that TCU and Baylor are playing. Now, last year, Baylor was on a tear at this point in the season. They were basically, if they won out, they would have been almost guaranteed a spot in the CFP. And they almost did anyway. But they lost to TCU. TCU, as its last act of last season, killed Baylor's season. CFP chances, at least. Baylor still won the Big 12 and had a great season, but they were on the verge of making the CFP, and it was taken from them by TCU. This year, I know Baylor had a bad showing against K-State, but I think TCU, they just got a big, hard, physical win over Texas. I think Baylor beats TCU. I'd say 27-28. I think it's a hard-hitting game. I think that Baylor gets up for this one. It's the homecoming game, or not homecoming, a senior day. I think Blake Shapen finally plays like the quarterback we all know he is, and Baylor's run game finds a way to dominate the game enough to win the game and beat TCU. So that's what I have as the game of the week, and I guess we'll call that upset of the week. I just can't think of any other games right now. I'm sorry. For the G5 game of the week, I'm going to go with SMU at Tulane. SMU has really found a groove these last few weeks. Tulane is a little bit reeling from their loss, I think, but I expect it to be a fun, exciting game. Probably not super high scoring, but it's like a 35-31 type game, and I'll lean Tulane. They have a better defense than SMU does, but I still think it should be like a 60+ point game. Fireworks still. A fun game to watch, no doubt, but maybe not the high-scoring game that SMU would want so they could win it, but one that Tulane can kind of keep control of and win.
All right, Hunter, I'm going to give you a couple
USC,
of games. I'm going to give you a couple of games to talk about real quick.
All right.
Just let's talk about the USC UCLA game. What are your thoughts on that one first?
Okay, that might be game of the week, actually. In fact, I'll call it Battle of LA game of the week. Both these teams, with Oregon's loss last week, even though UCLA did lose to Arizona, which is bad, have a lot in front of them in terms of the Pac-12. USC has to win out. If they want any chance of making the college football playoff, they must win out, and they need to dominate UCLA. I think that they're in the territory of if you don't score a ton of points and they don't score a lot, then you're going to start suffering in the rankings. They're behind a 2-loss LSU team, and they're behind Tennessee. So they need to start proving that they are the cream of the crop in the Pac-12. And so they need to beat UCLA this week. That's a tough ask. UCLA, even though they lost to Arizona, is still a tough team, and they're looking to play spoiler to USC's season. I would say my expectation is that this game's going to be like 49-28 USC. As much as I want to say UCLA is going to fight, I think USC has that realization, and that Lincoln Riley has made clear to his team that they have to step up, and that this is the game they have to go improve. It's at night, national television, a lot of eyeballs. CFP committee members are watching. You have to blow out UCLA to make it to the playoff. I don't know that UCLA is going to be a pushover, but my expectation is I like Lincoln Riley as a coach more than Chip Kelly. I think he's a better coach, so I'm going to give his team the edge. I do like DTR. He's still a good quarterback. I like Caleb Williams. I just think that the defenses make the difference, right? It's UCLA's defense couldn't stop Oregon. I don't think they can stop USC. So I think USC wins that one by, 21 points. Now, if UCLA makes it a close game, don't be surprised. It's a big rivalry game. These two teams both play in empty stadiums. So, maybe if they put all their fans together, they'll fill half of one of the stadiums. But it should be an exciting game.
All right, Hunter. Now I know we've talked about this off air, but let's talk about this. This is one of my favorite games of every year. It's Bedlam. It doesn't matter what the records are. Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, when they play, it means something. This year they're playing it in Norman. It's going to be at 6:30 at night. The Sooner fans are going to be loud. It's not going to be an easy game. And Spencer Sanders has played just kind of this year. He had a real good, strong start. Then he's gotten beat up. He's playing through injuries. XYZ. Hunter, what are your thoughts on Oak State traveling to Oklahoma and playing them on Saturday night?
Well, so, with obviously, the elephant there, the sort of Damocles of Texas and Oklahoma leaving for the SEC, supposedly in 2024, it could be next year, right? This could be the last time we see Bedlam. So, and Oak State knows that, right? And much like how when A&M and Texas played for the last time, there was a lot, it was a Texas team played up that day. They played a lot better than they should have. We watched that game. And I remember they played a lot better than they should have. So you're going to have that, right? It's a rivalry game. The teams are going to step up. Quarterbacks are going to suddenly not be so hurt. Linemen are going to block a little better. Running backs are going to hit a little harder. Linebackers are going to wrap up a little better. So it's just everyone's going to step up, especially the Oak State team, right? Oak State, Mike Gundy has for years sought to overtake Oklahoma as the premier, program from Oklahoma. Of course, he's struggled to do that, but not for a lack of trying. And, these last few years, it's really begun to start to see that Oak State's caught up in a lot of ways. Maybe not necessarily in talent on the surface, but in development, in coaching, in attitude. They've gotten a lot better. Oak State, of course, took that nasty loss to K-State this year. They took a bad loss to Kansas. They barely beat someone the other week, and they're back in the rankings, which is good for them. I think that but on the same coin, Brent Venables is trying to prove that he's going to have a better year at Oklahoma in the second half than he did at the beginning, right? After the Texas OU game, we all thought that this season was over, right? Oklahoma's done. Brent Venables will be fired at the end of the year. And Oklahoma's going to start back up again. Call Bob Stoops kind of situation. And they've really fought hard to make it to 5-5. I know a lot of OU fans don't want to hear that, but they had to fight hard to get there. There's been a lot more missing talent than was originally thought. So I think that Oklahoma, this is a night game. They don't lose in Norman at night very often. There's been plenty of times when people have put the Sooners down to lose at night in Norman, and it never happens. It's so hard to win there as an opposing team. Ask Oak State. They've won in Norman like all of Grand Total like 3 or 4 times. So in hundreds of years of playing Oklahoma, they barely ever win in Norman. And so I think that I'm going to give the edge to Brent Venables and the Sooners. They're playing at home. They're playing to make a bowl game. They're playing to prove that they don't suck. So this is how you do it, right? They need to beat Oak State. The matchups are offensively, Oklahoma's offense matches up rather not well to Oak State's defense, to be perfectly honest. Oklahoma runs a veer and shoot type offense. It's a little bit more towards the shoot part and less towards the veer part, but they still do run that system. So in order to be successful, they have to overcome Oklahoma State's pretty good pass defense. Their run defense isn't so great, but their pass defense is pretty good. And if they can go and put pressure on Dylan Gabriel, they can force him to make mistakes, right? That we've seen that from multiple teams that have beaten Oklahoma. That pressure on Dylan Gabriel will win you the game. So that's what we're gonna have to look to see. I think Oak State will. It'll be a hard-hitting game. I'm gonna go with a 35-38 Oklahoma. Last-minute field goal. Oklahoma's got a little bit better special teams than Oak State. So that's kind of my expectation with that game.
All right. Now, I got 2 more games for you. Let me just get quick reactions on this.
All right.
Is this a trap game with number 5 Tennessee traveling to Columbia, South Carolina to take on the Gamecocks? This is a night game in South Carolina. So this would be like their last big chance to upset a team. Is Tennessee at risk for a fault here?
Sure. We're gonna have to see the best Spencer Rattler, and we're gonna have to see the best Beamer ball we can. Like I said,
how good is Tennessee's special teams? Because anybody with the last name of Beamer knows how to coach special teams.
They've got a pretty good special teams unit. It's hard to define rankings on special teams. They have a special teams win rate of like in a 77%, which is pretty high nationally. So, but again, South Carolina's got the best special teams unit in the SEC according to the metrics. But again, there's a lot to that. It's all dependent on the same thing how Georgia beat Tennessee. It's all dependent on, can you stop the run? If South Carolina can stop Tennessee from running the ball, they win the game. If they can't, they lose the game. South Carolina already played a veer and shoot offense. They played Arkansas this year. They lost. They got ran over. Does that change now that they've had a lot of time in the season to adjust and make adjustments and guys play better in spots? Maybe. It's all dependent on that. Can you stop the run? If South Carolina stops the run and Spencer Rattler plays his best ball, South Carolina upsets the Vols and Nashville burns down. Or Knoxville, sorry.
All right. And I'm gonna give you 2 more. The first one is one of the best rivalry games out there that nobody ever talks about. We have Stanford traveling to Cal to take on Cal. Does the band run on the field and upset the game this season?
The most exciting thing that could happen. I'll say I hope Stanford wins. I have a former teammate. While we weren't very close, I always cheer for my former teammates. So hope they win. I don't know if they're going to. I think they're better than Cal. Don't know. Both teams aren't very good this year. So,
all right.
Hopefully
the game of the week. This might be the last victory of the season. Might be the last victory for Jake Spavital at Texas State. Arkansas State travels to San Marcos to take on the Bobcats at Bobcat Stadium. Can they pull off this victory on Saturday?
Jake Spavital has beaten Arkansas State 3 years in a row. It's the only team that we can consistently not suck more than. This is truly a race to the bottom here. I hope so. I mean, oh man, I don't want to get too much into it. I don't want to run with the podcast how much I don't like the coaching staff. I'll say for Texas State's part, the defense has improved basically every week. That they've had 2 bad games really all year against James Madison and against South Alabama, but Arkansas State stinks. They suck too. This is really who sucks more. Who is the worst team? I'm gonna homer it in and say my Bobcats are gonna beat the Red Wolves, but I don't look forward to sitting there and watching because I'm gonna sit there and sweat over this god awful travesty of a game. But hopefully that Jake Spavital gets one more win for the Bobcats, and maybe he gets a 5th, and at least he finishes with 5 wins. So every year he can say he improved, and then we can him. Say thank you for nothing. Please leave. But like I said, Texas State 3 years in a row has beaten Arkansas State. I think they do it again this year. Arkansas State sucks more than Texas State, but it's not by much.
All right, and that's Hunter's hard takes. All right, so Lindsay, Hunter, I don't know how much time y'all have left,
I should actually duck out now, so I'm going to bid you guys good evening, and we'll make sure that we have a fun time Saturday night watching the game. And
That's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yep.
So,
It'll
guys,
be fun.
have yourselves a good night, and I'll catch you next time.
We'll talk to you
Good
soon.
night, Lindsay.
Good night.
All right, bud. Well, you got any time left, or you gotta go?
Yeah, I got a few more minutes.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna turn the tables over to Jude, and let me get over here to Jude's cool takes. All right, Jude, tell me something good.
USC still has a glimmer of hope to make the CFP, the College Football National Playoff Championship playoff. That's good news. The bad news is, the Pac-12. I don't care that USC lost to Utah, or that Utah lost to UCLA or Oregon. UCLA lost to Oregon. That's all fine when top 10 teams are beating each other. But UCLA losing to Oregon, not Oregon, I'm sorry, to Arizona. That's not acceptable if you want your conference to be considered for a playoff berth. We were talking about Georgia. They're playing Kentucky this weekend, and if I'm correct, Kentucky's ranked. Aren't they still ranked?
Mm-mm.
They shouldn't be.
No,
suck.
they're not.
Well,
Kentucky's
they-
unranked, and the good thing is UCLA is still ranked. So,
well, yeah. What my point was going to be is Kentucky's been ranked most of the year, and last game of the year, no one's even giving any glimmer of hope to Kentucky to stand a chance against Georgia. Because SEC teams don't go in and typically lose the games that they're supposed to win. I know it's a brutal conference, and there's very seldom an undefeated team unless you're Alabama out of that conference, maybe LSU once in a while, or Georgia. But that's because these programs are built, from the interior lines, man, and that's what the Pac-12's got to start doing. I'm disappointed. Every week I'm coming up with trying to make these funny takes, of USC's outside chances to get in, and all these teams that I'm hoping that lose or play poorly so USC can sneak in. Yeah, I do want those things to happen, but what's going to happen if we get in? And if we get into the playoff, chances are we're going to be the number 4 seed. And dude, I mean, what happens when we play Georgia? Georgia's got an offense and a defense. What are we going to do? That it's. I'd almost rather, like I said, rather play the Ohio State, Michigan loser in the Rose Bowl than play Georgia. Now that's not what I want. Like I said, I almost want, but of course I want to make the playoff. But man, this cool takes turning into a rant. I'm just very disappointed in the way the Pac-12 is becoming. Hopefully, we do a lot better when we're in the Big Ten. So maybe some of these big beefy linemen are going to want to come to our school. I don't know.
I think that USC is on the right path with the linemen. Lincoln Riley knows linemen are important. You look at Oklahoma's linemen started to dip down for a while. Lincoln Riley becomes a head coach, and he puts a big focus on it with Bill Bedenbaugh. Now, of course, Bedenbaugh is still at Oklahoma, but there's some rumors that he could be on the move to LA, kind of wanting to actually go back with Lincoln, maybe not agreeing so much with, Jeff Lebby and Brent Venables and such at Oklahoma. So that's important. Lincoln Riley is a good, intelligent coach. Now, you can sit there and say he didn't want to coach in the SEC, but I think he's got USC on the right path. You want to make the playoff this year. If not for nothing else, the recruiting alone. Look at Michigan. They made the playoff last year, got dumpstered, and now everyone's talking about how close they are to a national championship. So I think USC's on the right path.
I hope so.
If my team were to make the CFP, I would take it. I don't care if they went and got blown out. I mean, it's like poker. All you need is a chip and a chair. You still got a chance.
That's true.
you never know what happens. You know, like say they encounter weather inside a dome. You know.
Well, that game, USC and UCLA, is both my game of the week and my game of the week because it's going to be a great game. It's a rivalry game, and they're both ranked. Yet, unfortunately, just what I just said, everything I just said too. But
what
I'm
half full stadium are they playing in? Which one?
Oh, they're they're playing in the Rose Bowl.
Oh man. And the weather's going to be 71 and clear. I mean, like, could you get any better?
It's probably going to be. Well, the game kicks off 5:00. It'll probably be about 70 degrees at kickoff. It'll probably be in the mid 50s by the time the game's over.
I mean, twist my arm.
Yeah.
I'm going to take you up on your offer. We're going to make it out to Pasadena one of these days and go watch the game at the Rose Bowl. It's gonna.
Oh, that would be
that.
It is a really cool spot. Like I said, the tailgating alone, but it's a fun. I've seen SC play UCLA there probably, I don't know, 8-10 times, and they only play there every other year. But it's a fun place to go. Now, I personally, even though it's not a good stadium, I just because of the aura, and everything, I like the Coliseum. And I've seen so many games at the LA Coliseum.
All right, Jude. Well, let me do the same thing with you. I want to ask you about a couple of games and get your thoughts on them. There's a lot of top 25 teams this week playing some really down competition. Alabama's playing Austin P. Come on, seriously.
Yeah.
Let's go Govs.
Schedule a real team. Florida State scheduled Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns. A year ago, this would have been a different game, I think. But this year, they're going to drub Louisiana. The Raging Cajuns are not very good this year. Let me see. I saw one other game. I was just kind of like, really? You got Ohio State playing Maryland. I'm kidding. Where's the other game? And, Texas A&M is playing UMass. Mississippi State's playing East Tennessee State. I mean, like the SEC teams.
Go Bucks.
Like, you're kind of like, come on, man, play somebody for real.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. I mean, I've got still a glimmer of hope, like I said, man, and I'd like to see Illinois pull off the upset of upsets this weekend. I'll definitely be keeping one eye on that game for sure, at least through the first. If it's close at halftime, I'm going to mute myself for a second, guys. One of the classes here at the gym night out.
All right. Well, I'm going to say hi to everybody in the chat real quick. What's up, Hunter?
I was just do a little quick analysis on the Michigan-Illinois game. I didn't think about it.
Hold on just a second. All right. Well, let's say hi to Raging Cajun Trucking Garage. He says the best part of football is the tailgating before the game. That is true a lot. Schmitty71 said hi to Raging. Schmitty also said good night to Lindsay. Let's say hi to Doug. I didn't get a chance to do that earlier. Diabolical58. He was saying good night to Pat Paulson. If you're still watching, good night. Diabolical58. Thanks for being part of the program. Our number one fan. Well, him and Schmitty71, number one's fan, but loyal follower, loyal subscriber. Just watching every stream. Not the biggest football fan in the world, but watches. He likes wide right CFB, so we like it for that.
Schmitty71, you want to move up a little bit? Get us a Heisman Trophy panelist.
I heard Scott Frost isn't doing anything these days.
Yeah, see if you can lock down Scott Frost for us.
All right, so Jude, I gotta ask you some questions about. Let's talk about a couple games. I want to talk about Ole Miss and Arkansas. This is a 6:30 kickoff Central Time, so it'll be 4:30 your time. And this is coming from Fayetteville in Arkansas. Does the rumor mill, does this have Ole Miss distracted from beating Arkansas?
I don't think so. They still want to play on a New Year's Day bowl. They're going to come in and handle their business.
All right. The next one I want to talk to you about is Georgia Tech at North Carolina. Now we have the dark horse quarterbacks. The freshman Drake May is going to be playing Georgia Tech. This is an opportunity for him to go and throw up some ridiculous numbers ahead of a matchup in the ACC championship game. So, does Drake May have a sub or not a sub? Does he have a plus 450 passing yardage game this weekend versus Georgia Tech?
That's a good over under, but that just shows how good he is that we put it that high.
Well, last week he threw for 448.
Yeah,
in a very quiet 448.
What a disappointment!
I'm going to take the over, and I'm going to make him my new favorite because I'm going to go for a dark horse, and I definitely would like to see him in New York. Now, I don't know if he's going to win, but I'd like to see him get one of the seats.
Yeah, he deserves to be there for sure.
Absolutely deserves to be there.
All right. Next one I have for you, Jude, is number 24, North Carolina State. I don't know how this team's so ranked, but they are. They are hosting Louisville. Louisville is hosting them at 2:30 p.m. from Cardinal Stadium in Louisville, Kentucky. Does Louisville win this game? Can they pull this off?
Louisville is so off and on. You don't know which team's going to show up. The bad team that can hang in once in a while, or the really bad team that's going to get blown out. I'm thinking it's going to be the really bad team, and they're going to lose at home this weekend. Because North Carolina State, like you said, I don't know how they're still ranked either, but any team that's still ranked at this point in the year that's playing a halfway decent team, or a team that we're not just going to like Alabama. Would you say they're playing Austin Peay? At least it's not a game like that. So
yeah,
North Carolina State's trying to make some noise so they can get recognized for a late December bowl game.
Well, yeah. So that is something to keep in mind. All right, that's pretty much all I got. I mean, unless you want to give your thoughts about Western Kentucky being Auburn, but I really like Auburn's interim coach, Cadillac Williams. I think he's a really good guy. I liked his excitement, his enthusiasm after his first win last week. He like I said, there's people that deserve to have success. He's a guy I believe that deserves to have success. So I was really happy to see him get a victory last week. All right, well, I'm gonna cover a couple more things on my end, and then we'll kind of wrap the show after that. But my game of the week is going to be USC UCLA, and then my other game of the week, and they're both it's a powerful game, is going to be Utah at Oregon. These games are going to decide who plays in the Pac-12 championship game, and it could decide who the fourth team in the college football playoff. So. We're not there yet. There's a lot can still happen in the final weeks of the regular season and the championship games that could cause these teams to leapfrog another team and get in. So I would say, if you're in the top 10, you still have a chance. And if you have one loss, you still have a chance. So for SC's hopes, they still have a chance. But you have 4 teams with 2 losses right now that are all chomping at the bit to knock USC off. So I think, from a USC's perspective, they have a lot to play for. So I'm excited to watch it. It's going to be a fun weekend of football. I think there's a lot of good rivalry games. If you're the SEC, I'm kind of disappointed that you're playing such a weak schedule. I know why they do it, right? Because you don't want to go and you kind of want to build yourself in like a week off, but without taking a week off, Alabama's not going to lose to Austin Peay. You couldn't convince me otherwise.
Don't count the Governors out.
I'm counting them out.
Are they the Governors?
Yeah. So
yes, I know almost all the mascots.
Oh, that's cool.
All right, here I'll hit you with one in a second then. But I think those were some really important games. I think a hidden gem is going to be this Tennessee and South Carolina. I think we're going to see the best Spencer Rattler we've ever seen. I think he's going to throw up a big game this week. He has equal competition to go and compete against. He has decent players. I mean, they're not great, but they're not terrible. You know what I mean? Offense is going to be what he's going to specialize in. And it's Beamer ball. You can't ever count out Beamer ball. Frank Beamer, Shane Beamer's dad, Frank Beamer, was the innovator of special teams and making special teams great. And Shane Beamer has that same niche about him, and he is really, really, really good. And I really enjoy watching a Beamer coach team, whether it be Frank Beamer or Shane Beamer. So I think we're going to get a good game at that one. I'm just kind of scrolling. I didn't really put anything together. Like I said, I've been kind of under the weather this week. So definitely Hunter and I are going to watch Texas and Kansas. This is a big game for Texas. That's a big game for Kansas. I know it doesn't sound like it should be, but it is. And I have an opinion on that, but we're going to watch it. And it's going to be a fun game to watch, I believe. And then another game that not a lot of people have talked about is Houston at East Carolina. Now, these aren't like powerhouse teams, but I believe that Houston's going to score a ton of points in this game. East Carolina doesn't have a tremendous defense, but they have a good enough offense to keep Houston's offense going. And where I'm getting at this is if you have an offense that can score fairly quick and you play a very powerful offense, a very high-flying, fast-action offense, you get these shootout games because a team like Houston needs a willing combatant, kind of like SMU, right? SMU scores a lot of points, so that means that Houston can score a lot of points because SMU is not going to have the ball for these real long drives. They're going to be 7 plays, 2 minutes, touchdown, right? And then Houston's going to retaliate with, 6 plays, a minute 50, touchdown. I mean, so East Carolina kind of provides the same thing where they can score points in bunches. And so that's like what I call is a mutual combatant. So then you can go just toe-to-toe, toe-to-toe. And the ball just moves down the field. What happens sometimes with these high, powerful offenses, they play a team that runs the ball a lot and does a lot of ground control, and it really slows the game down. It takes them out of the rhythm. So it's something to watch. So those are mine and my Heisman hopefuls. I'm going to say C.J. Stroud is number one still until proven otherwise. Blake Corum is going to be in this group because Blake Corum he's part of a team that hasn't lost, and he's the integral part of the team. I think Hendon Hooker is going to get invites, but I don't think he's going to win anything. I don't know that Caleb Williams gets an invite. It depends on how well Drake May plays. If Drake May throws for more than 450 yards this weekend, and in North Carolina scores more than 40 points, he's going to be in
that's another willing
New York
combatant game, like you're talking about.
Yeah,
Georgia Tech's willing to score fast with Jeff Sims.
Jeff Sims isn't going to be there. He's going to be out.
Oh.
So
I don't know if he makes 450 then, because they might blow them out and the game will be over. We know Mac Brown. The minute he gets a good lead,
but you're also trying to put a player into New York. So I think they're gonna really kind of push the edge. So that's pretty much the show for today. I appreciate everybody joining us today. Especially I'd like to thank the panelists first and foremost. Lindsay's a great panelist, and it was good to have him on. Jude, as always, a great panelist. I always love having Jude on. Hunter, I appreciate it. Thanks for joining us. And then I want to thank everybody in the chat. Doug, Schmitty71, thanks for joining us. Diabolical58, thanks for checking in on me. I am feeling a little bit better today. Raging Cajun Garage, thank you for joining us. I think Pat Paulson joined us earlier. And if I missed anybody else, I appreciate everybody for joining us, jumping in. Hunter's over here holding up 2 fingers for the cats. He may be frozen. I don't know. Talk for a second, son.
What?
Oh, okay. All right. I'm just messing around. All right. So, Hunter, I'm going to let you do your outro. Let's go ahead and say your piece.
In order of importance, eat 'em up, cats, hook 'em horns, go Navy, beat someone.
UCF.
Ruin their season.
My man, Cool Jude Santa Cruz.
All right, man. In order of importance, fight Illini, fight. Let's go the other USC. And fight on.
All right, once again, please everybody go like, comment, subscribe, be a part of our giveaway. It's something fun. We really appreciate doing it. We're gonna have a special guest on a little bit later in the season. We had to reschedule. We had a few scheduling conflicts. We're also gonna have another big guest on our giveaway night, so please tune in and join that. And once again,
World famous.
Everybody knows this person. Remember, in the famous words of John Madden, the team that scores the most points always wins the game. Thanks for watching.